mic also working?
I believe my mic is also working.
Hello. Yeah. Your mic is working. I can confirm that now.
Excellent.
All right. Hello and welcome everybody to the Lobbycast. It's episode 366 for March 4th. Is that right? Today the 4th?
It is, in fact, the 4th.
Okay, perfect. Yay. I hate when I have time travel episodes due purely to my lack of grasp on the calendar.
Things happen.
Yeah, these things do happen. So how are things?
Stuff happened this last week.
Did
Here and
stuff
there.
happen?
I think a few things happened here and there.
Okay. I think a
Um,
few things happened with me too.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Kind of.
Me adjacent, really.
And again, I have to warn with the news that anything that I say this week, some of it is things that's happened the past week. Some of it may have happened 2 or 3 weeks ago since I haven't been here. This is the first time in about 3 weeks
Yeah.
I've been here.
Did I do 2 solo shows in a row?
You did, because
Ugh.
I was
God help us all.
dealing with shenanigans. And then there were more shenanigans the week after that I also had to handle.
Wow. Were they related shenanigans?
They were all related shenanigans. The shenanigans from the first week multiplied and piled into the shenanigans of the second week.
Gotcha. I understand. I see what's going on now.
Multi-state shenanigans.
Wow.
There were
That is
shenanigans here in
impressive.
Colorado, then the shenanigans went to New Mexico and ended up in El Paso.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Go fight win shenanigans.
yes, I think they've been handled.
I hope that is the case.
I do too.
Perfect.
Occasional shenanigans are kind of fun. 2 weeks of straight shenanigans, not so much.
Correct. I'm with you on that. Well, do you want to go ahead and get into the news?
Sure.
Awesome.
You or me?
Fire away.
Okay.
Go for it.
July 22nd of this year, news just dropped a few days ago. See, a little more recent. That those of us who are fans of Absolutely Fabulous, which is in this room, me, are going to.
I don't know what that is. Oh no! We had like a VHS box set of them at the store at one point.
And I showed up to your house once dressed as one of the characters at a Halloween party. So.
Okay, perfect.
There you go.
So something so incredibly awesome that it was once on VHS. Fire away. Go ahead.
And we are getting an AbFab movie. So many years after the ladies, Patsy and Adina's adventures left television and went into syndication, we are actually getting a new movie with more continued adventures.
Wait, is this an appropriate time to do jazz hands?
Yes.
Okay. Done.
If I had some glitter, I'd throw it around.
All right. Perfect.
So they will be, drinking their cocktails on the big screen starting this summer. So very excited about that. Yay.
Yay.
And as far as, let's see, what else do we have? I'm going to back up a little bit here and do a little bit of the older stuff real quick, get that out of the way. I don't know if you talked about this. Producer Michael DeLucia of The Social Network is working on bringing Battlestar Galactica movie also. Speaking of TV treatments, getting a big screen treatment.
Now, is this going to be the most recent Battlestar? They're going to bring those characters back, or a completely new thing?
And put them on the big screen with a new story.
Well, that's cool.
So
those that are still alive.
Yes, those that are still with us. There's not a lot of details about that yet. They are saying that Bluegrass Pictures is handling the project, and that's about all we know.
Okay. Awesome.
So, fans of Battlestar Galactica, you also get to do whatever the Battlestar Galactica equivalent of jazz hands is at this point. Take it away.
I don't know what that would be.
Damn it, man. You're the one that watched this show, not me.
True story.
Okay. BBC is bringing classic episodes of The Twilight Zone to their BBC radio shows.
Ooh.
Yeah, they've got Stacy Keach narrating, doing the Rod Serling job, which I was very happy to hear. I'm sure he will rock that. And they don't have a complete list of which episodes they're going to do.
They don't have Morgan Freeman though.
Not yet. They could.
Yeah.
They could. Yeah. That could be a thing. That could happen. And
yeah,
if it doesn't, it will be a missed opportunity.
it'll have to be episodes that translate well to not having a picture.
I'm kind of glad you brought that up because the only one that they have said for sure that they're releasing so far is an episode called An Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge. Those of you familiar with the show might be scratching your head right now because it was a short film that Rod Serling wanted to show in America. So he used his vehicle, the Twilight Zone, to do it. It's one of the ones that he did not write. It was based on a story written by Ambrose Bierce. And those of you that might be scratching your head, you were there to catch everyone else up. They're scratching their head because there's almost no dialogue in that episode. It's almost entirely visual. In fact, I've seen that episode several times and I can't think of any dialogue. I think
Wow.
there's maybe 2 words spoken for the entire 30-minute episode. So I'm fascinated to see what on earth they're going to do with this to bring it to radio.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So
because there would have to be narration since there's no dialogue.
yes, and radio does rely on narration. Dialogue is narration. I get that, but yeah, when there's no dialogue to be had in the original, in the short film, at any rate.
Yeah.
I have read, and I don't think there's a whole lot of dialogue in the story by Ambrose Bierce. It's a very surreal visual experience. And if you haven't seen it, I recommend looking it up. Even if you're not a Twilight Zone fan, I think you might like it. Like I said, it was kind of outside of the realm of Twilight Zone and was just brought in. But that's where we are with that project, and it'll be interesting to see what they do with it.
So speaking of the Twilight Zones, which ones would you like to hear? I mean, what were some of your favorites?
Some of my favorite, and some of them were. There's a lot, and I'm sure that some of my answers would be very stereotypical. I've always really liked Will the Real Martian Please Stand Up?
Is that the one where there was the little town and they were kind of goaded into attacking each other by an outside alien force?
No, that was The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street.
Oh, that's right.
The name of that episode. Yes.
Yeah.
And
that's one of my favorites.
That would be another amazing one for them to do.
Yeah.
Well, The Real Martian Please Stand Up also plays on paranoia.
Okay.
But it's more, even more put into even more of a microcosm than that episode. They're basically stranded in a diner in a snowstorm, and
I've seen that one. Yeah,
where there were 6 passengers on a bus, and somehow 7 walked into the diner, and they're trying to figure out who the person that doesn't belong is.
Right.
And but so many Twilight Zones really strongly relied on strong visuals, and to kind of really get you. And so it'll be interesting to see how they translate these into radio plays.
Yeah. What are some other ones that stand out for you?
Let's see. To Serve Man.
Right.
Was another excellent episode. The Bewitching Pool was an interesting one.
Yeah.
2 children find that their swimming pool isn't just a swimming pool; it takes them to a different dimension.
Oh, okay.
One that might make a really good radio play, I would think, would be Little Girl Lost, where a child her parents can hear her calling out for help, but they can't find her, and it seems like she fell into, again, speaking of a similar kind of plot device, she fell into some kind of hole into another world or dimension of some sort. I could see that one actually translating pretty well.
Yeah, the one with the one on the plane, the alien, the Banshee,
10,000 Feet, based on the story by Richard Matheson.
Yep, that one. And not is it Plenty of Time?
Time Enough at Last.
Time Enough at Last.
Yes, with Burgess Meredith, who that's an episode. So that is good. Such a good episode. And fun fact, Burgess Meredith was the most frequent repeat actor on that show. He was on, I'm wanting to say 5 or 6 different episodes as different main characters, because I know he was in that one. He was in Mr. Dingle the Strong. He was in The Devil's.
I'm glad that you know the names of the episodes. What's the one where they had the fighting robots, but then the boxer goes in and
Yes, I know
and
the
takes the place
episode.
of the robot
I know the episode. I've seen it, and I
because he
can't
needs
remember the
money.
title. Yeah. Um, and some of and some of their best ones. I hope that they not only tackle the 30-minute episodes, but some of their best ones. They had one season where they were hour-long episodes. Those never get as much attention and play as some of the other ones, and I think
Right.
some of the better episodes they did were from that season. That's where we had the what was it, print the one where the devil is working at a newspaper again, Burgess Meredith. Um, and there was that one, and they had another one that was really good. The 10,000 fathom grave or something of that nature, the something fathom grave, where they're hearing noises in a sunken submarine that shouldn't have anything alive aboard.
Oh, right.
That one would probably lend itself well to the teleplay also, because so much of the plot device there is the clanging noise that they're hearing coming
Right.
out of the submarine.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting. I
Yes.
didn't know that, but I will definitely try and find a way to tune into that.
Yes, I think a lot
You
of
can
us
probably stream it
nerds
off
will.
the internet.
Yeah, and the BBC has different websites getting Americans some of their stuff at least. So um, hopefully they'll be kind enough to give us access to this fun project.
Very cool.
Um, quick side note: comedian, as Jeff is aware, because we were talking about this off camera earlier, British comedian Noel Fielding is doing an American tour. It's already been announced. Tickets are on sale, and a lot of his shows are already sold out. So if you're a fan, you might want to get on it. He is not coming through Denver, unfortunately. So
What the fudge?
yeah, it's. I think that from what I can tell, it looks like he's doing medium-sized venues in um, the way he phrased it, he said, I think I intentionally hit all the hipster cities and not a whole lot in between, because he's hitting Portland, San Diego, Los Angeles, Chicago, some places like that.
Yeah.
But I'm going, so is Brick. We're very excited. Yay!
So if he's doing medium-sized venues, then what size is that? Is that like Paramount Theater here?
I'm thinking, yeah, that kind of looks like the equivalent of the Paramount Theater here.
Okay.
Because he said, I know he's got.
Because our comedy clubs aren't big.
No. And his shows are more, from my understanding, this is the first time he's ever done a solo tour in the U.S. ever. Last time he was here was with the Mighty Boosh, and that
where
was
are you going?
a while ago, Los Angeles. I was going to go to Chicago, but that show sold out, I think, within a couple of days of them announcing it.
What else are you going for? Are you going for that?
I'm going for that.
Wow. That's an expensive comedy show.
Not really. I have Southwest points.
Oh. All right
So
then.
it's a free plane ticket, and I'm sleeping in the USO at the airport. So I don't actually, aside from the ticket and the $8 round trip bus fare, I'm really not spending anything.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
Yeah,
very
if I
cool.
actually had to pay for the plane ticket, I would have gone, well, it sucks. I'll
So
have to catch him in another 10 years.
It's an expensive show for Brick?
No, because he was already going to be there. He
Oh,
was
okay.
going out there for other things and just happened to be there at the right time when.
Oh, nice.
Because I was supposed to go with Will, and then I was supposed to go with my brother, and neither
Yeah.
of those worked out.
Gotcha.
So I thought I was just going to sell my ticket to some person that wasn't able to get one out front for an extremely reasonable price.
Sure.
And that was when Brick said, wait, March 30th, I'm going to be in Los Angeles for a game on the 31st, and I don't have anything to do on the 30th. I said, do you know who Noel Fielding is? And he said, yes, I know who Noel Fielding is. And I said, are you going with me? And he said, hell yeah, I'm going with you. So it's just a really weird.
That's
The universe
awesome.
socked into place exactly correctly.
Yeah, that's very cool.
So we're going to meet in Los Angeles for one night and go see Noel Fielding.
Very, very cool.
It should be it'll be interesting. His shows are a big pile of weird, so
There's nothing wrong with that.
no, there's really not. I kind of like his brand of weird, so it'll be good. And another similar news, Noel Fielding just announced that he is starting to write again with Boosh partner Julian Barat. So yes, a lot of us are excited about that. Can't wait to see what they come up with.
Yay.
All right, Gambit, another movie news. Back to movie news. Gambit, which we're all excited for. Release date moved and not specified, so not great news. Moved it out, and they're saying at this point we have no idea when we're releasing.
Who's going to be playing Gambit?
Oh, I knew this last week. The shenanigans drove this information right out of my head. If only there was a device sitting in front of me that I could consult.
Yeah.
One moment, folks. Jeff is going to talk to you while I
Do do
consult the
do do do
interwebs.
do 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 do.
Gambit, who's
It's
playing
not the
Gambit?
Magic Mike guy, is it?
Yes, it is. That is it. Channing Tatum
Oh,
is playing him.
why?
This does not please you. Does not make you happy. I am assuming.
No.
I haven't seen him in enough stuff to dislike him, so I'm neutral on this news.
Yeah. All right. He's just one of those actors that just kind of strikes you as being dumb.
He might be. He may very well be. I don't know. I've never met him.
Yeah, I haven't either.
So,
and
well,
bad at his job.
and again, I've not really seen him in anything to judge, so I can't.
Wasn't he in the Jump Street movies?
I've not seen those.
Jupiter Rising.
He was in Jupiter Rising, but that whole movie had problems, so I can't judge him based on that
Sure.
movie. Although, as we've talked about on this podcast before, that movie did not suck nearly as bad as people want to tell you that it did.
Right, I remember you saying that.
So, I can't really.
I haven't been able to bring myself to watch it though.
I mean, Eddie Redmayne kind of was off, was off in that movie. Normally, Eddie Redmayne is kind of magic in anything that he does. Even in this movie, you were kind of going, "All right, could have been worse." So, while we're talking about casting dust-ups,
Yeah.
we can take it over to American Gods by Neil Gaiman.
Okay.
That's been in the news, entertainment news a lot the last couple of weeks. Those of you that are fans of Neil Gaiman.
Oh, yeah.
This is where you raise your hand there too.
Okay, got it.
Because if not, we're going to have to talk after this is over.
I would not look forward to that kind of talk.
Or should you? They have been casting American Gods, the miniseries, and there was simultaneous rejoicing and this week when they said Ian McShane is going to be playing Mr. Wednesday.
Oh, that's a yay!
Yay! Yeah. And again, back to a casting choice. There were some people who had the reaction that he just had, only about this guy, that I don't quite understand. I guess was Ricky Whittle was announced as playing Shadow.
I don't know who that is.
He, I think, in America is best known for he played Lincoln in the 100. And if you haven't seen that, I don't think there's much.
I saw a couple episodes of it, but I just couldn't take anymore.
Yeah, I understand. But some people have really expressed disappointment about him being cast, and the rest of us don't understand why people are
Gotcha.
upset.
Yeah, the thing about the 100 is every time I see that it's still on, I'm surprised. Isn't it? It's like third season or something.
Yeah, something like that. I know a few people that watch it. I just never. I'm like you. I've watched a few episodes and I was pleasantly neutral and walked away. I didn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't I wasn't ripped enough to stay with it.
No.
So yeah, that's. I couldn't begin to tell you why some people were upset about Ricky Whittle being cast as Shadow. I'm sure they had their reasons.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And this will lead us into one of our actual listed subjects, I think.
Okay.
The Dark Tower.
Oh, yes.
So, speaking of casting decisions being made, and
I'm pretty happy with this one.
yeah, this one seems like they made some interesting choices that are gonna.
Yeah. So because
translate well.
Idris Elba is going to be the gunslinger.
Yeah, there's that's another.
That's a huge win.
Yay, yeah.
Then Matthew McConaughey is going to be the Man in Black, so he'll play the villain, the antagonist.
Yes, which will be interesting.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to this. I love Idris Elba and everything he does.
Absolutely.
So big fan. And the murmurs continue that he may end up being the next Bond, which I would also be okay with.
Yeah, and it seems like there's kind of an it guy every few years that they say, oh, he's the next Bond, and 9 times out of 10 that's not the case. But it would be interesting if they took it in that direction. That would be cool.
Yeah, I think it'd be awesome.
I might even sign up to see those movies because
Daniel Craig is done with those movies.
Yeah, you could tell. I mean,
he's so done.
He's so done.
Whenever you say, "I'd rather slit my throat than play Bond again," you're done. That's fairly definitive.
Yeah.
There's no wishy-washiness about that.
Well, one of the things, because I'm not a huge Bond fan, but one of the things I loved about Daniel Craig was how honest he was, and I think much to the chagrin of the movie studios about what kind of character Bond is, because people always say, "Oh, he's suave, he's amazing, he's this," and Daniel Craig would go into an interview and say he's a gin-soaked sociopath that happened to work for the right people.
Yeah.
I don't know why people think he's a hero. And that kind of made me really love Daniel Craig a little bit for pointing out that fact.
Yeah. Yep.
I really kind of love that. Good
That
on
is
you,
great.
Daniel Craig. Good on you.
What else do you have?
I think that might wrap up my accumulated news.
Okay. Well, in some other movie news, Deadpool continues to do extremely well in the box office. It is now over 600 million worldwide, which is great for a movie that cost 56 million to make, or right around there, 55, 56. So huge box office success doesn't normally happen to R-rated movies, especially not R-rated comic book movies, because if you think about the ones that have come before, Blade, the Blade series enjoyed some success.
Yeah.
The Punisher movies did not do well at all.
Judge Dredd.
Judge Dredd.
The first one actually was fairly successful. The second remake was pretty lackluster.
Yeah. Although better.
Yeah, strangely.
Better movie overall.
Better, but people, I think, still had some kind. I don't know if it was sentimental attachment to the first one that they still had.
I thought the second one, the one with Carl Urban, was actually enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I liked that he didn't talk a whole lot.
There's that.
Because the problem with the first one is that Stallone talked a lot. Yeah. Maybe a little too much. So we'll move on to some video game news. Phil Spencer has been talking a bit lately about creating a hardware upgradable console.
Okay.
Rather than having these radical console generations where you're huge upgrades incrementally, or every 5 to 7 years or whatever it is, that you can get incremental updates, upgrade the video card, upgrade the processor, and things along those lines. And what is the cat doing? Anyway. And have it less of an investment all at once, and then more of an investment over time.
Okay.
So, who knows what will come of that? PS4, I think, just got an update that will allow streaming to PC and Mac, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
I use it on a fairly consistent basis with my Xbox because Xbox can stream to Windows 10 devices.
Yeah.
And I stream to my laptop. I stream to my PC at home whenever someone else needs to use the main television in the living room.
Because your roommates don't seem to let you use your stuff a lot.
No, they do. I only have one now, and we've been working opposite schedules.
Oh, so that works.
Yeah. So not so bad. Division Preload is also already available on the Xbox. It became available yesterday, and on the 6th, so day after tomorrow, you'll be able to preload the Division on your PS4, and then you're able to play at midnight on the 8th, as it becomes the 8th, I guess.
Okay.
Hugely excited for that game.
Yeah, I know several people that we know are.
Yeah, my brother and I are
investing in that one.
My brother and I are all in on that one. I think
Sam
is also in on that one.
Yes.
Maybe Brick. Not sure exactly.
Yeah, I don't know if he's sure yet.
Yeah. And then Several of us are also going to get in on Quantum Break, which is an Xbox exclusive. It's going to be shipping on Xbox and Windows 10 at the same time. There's a really good deal attached to that, where if you pre-order the game through Amazon and I think Xbox, something they have in common is that you get copies of Alan Wake and all the DLC and the Alan Wake American Nightmare, which is kind of a follow-up title for it. You get the digital copies of those for free. If you pre-order from Xbox, you also get the PC version, the Windows 10 version of Quantum Break for free.
Nice.
So that is cool. And I think that's about it, other than our big news, which is the Fallout 4 update. They're releasing an update in preparation for the first DLC, Automatron, which comes out towards the end of this month.
Mm-hmm.
And they're of course going to be preparatory patch and then fixes for things within the game, but they are fairly radically changing the survival mode, which is going to be my long-term gameplay for Fallout 4. So I played through a story once, played it through on the railroad. I did a lot with the settlements and stuff like that. And the second one right now I'm burning through with as a Institute character, and then I'll burn through as the Brotherhood. What is it?
Brotherhood of Steel.
Brotherhood of Steel. Yeah, so I'll burn through those, and I'm playing through those pretty quickly. I'm level 13, I think, and I'm already about to go to the Institute.
Nice.
So I'm going through it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And I've got the combat set to easy, and I'll do the same thing with the Brotherhood of Steel, just so I can experience the story, get it right, and then start my survival mode playthrough.
I still haven't decided if I'm going to do one of those.
Well, here are some things you need to take into consideration after the patch. Because after the patch, ammo will have weight.
Okay, that's they did that in New Vegas.
Enemies no longer appear on your compass.
Okay.
So that's a thing.
Yeah.
You automatically receive the adrenaline perk, so it gives you a bonus to your damage output.
All right.
So it helps you there. That's a helpful
nice.
one. Wellness, you must stay hydrated, fed, and rested. So you're going to have to carry food and water and consume it, and make sure that you're getting your your proper sleep.
A lot of this, like sickness, crippled limbs. A lot of this was they did in survival mode, in New Vegas. Crippled limbs no longer auto heal after combat. Remain crippled until healed by a stim pack.
Yeah, you have to heal limbs individually rather than just taking a stim pack and healing yourself in general.
Exceeding carry weight reduces endurance and agility. Companions no longer automatically get back up if down during combat. The antibiotics is the one I'm seeing that's different, because I did a full playthrough on survival mode with New Vegas, and they didn't have the chem stations really in New Vegas, and so the antibiotics thing is new.
Yeah, and also fatigue works against your action points. If you haven't gotten rest, that's where you're going to feel it, is you won't be able to use your action points. The respawn rate is lower on places that you've already cleared, so there's not as much opportunity for you to go back to areas that you know that you can beat pretty easily. And get stuff
and beef up your inventory. Yeah, that sounds, and I'm sure because the gameplay is somewhat different on this, but a lot of the rules are the same as New Vegas survival mode.
Yeah,
and
which I read. I didn't finish a playthrough on survival.
Yeah, I did that one I finished it on New Vegas, so I still have to decide if that's something I want to experience twice in my life.
Because it's a big deal.
It's intense.
Yeah. Oh, and the type of bed you're sleeping in determines the length of time you're
Right.
able to stay asleep. So probably you're gonna be pretty limited by sleeping bags and mattresses on the floor. Yeah. So you'll want to definitely have
An owned bed
an owned bed.
that you can go back to and actually regenerate
Yeah.
and get yourself kind of
So that one,
back
I think,
together.
if when I do it, um, I'm probably just going to focus on Sanctuary as my main
your main hub.
my main hub.
Probably a good idea.
Right. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it, but it will be a trial.
Yes, it will.
Yeah, that it's a very difficult way to play the game
Mm-hmm.
and adventure.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and get into the weekly watches. I think we're all done with news. Erin, what you been listening to this week?
Um, frankly, a lot of it was shuffle all because I spent a great deal of time in the car, driving around, attending to tri-state shenanigans, but there was definitely a lot of um, a lot of shuffle all. Let's see, a lot of the darkness because you have to have a lot of the darkness on the road trip.
Well, obviously.
Obviously, a lot of Queen because that's really the you could do a whole road trip just on Queen, truthfully, if you needed to. So you need to have a lot of that. A lot of Annie Lennox, a lot of Adamant, got some El King in there, some Amy Winehouse.
As one does.
As one does, yes. And I'm not going to take you through my entire list of iPod nonsense, but there was a lot of them in there. Um, and I listened to Neil Gaiman read some of his stories
Cool.
because he's a wonderful storyteller, as we've already addressed on this podcast today alone. And he reads his own stories, and he's an amazing talent that way. Um, and he has a great voice. Not only does he good at doing a lot of different characters, but he just has a nice voice. Someone like online, I think, like, and he said, "Wow, he's got a voice like a jaguar playing the cello." And I said, "I don't know what that means, but it's a fantastic analogy." So
Sure.
that's really a lot of that was a lot of road music.
Okay. Mine is mostly podcasts. I did some shuffle all, listened to it, and watched a lot of Walk Off the Earth,
Nice,
as I do,
like you do.
like I do. And then listened to a couple of episodes of Freakonomics, and I listened to one episode of Common Sense with Dan Carlin, and I listened to a couple of episodes of Gamertag Radio.
Nice.
And I think that's about it as far as my listening. So, what you watching, Erin?
Let's see. I watched the Oscars when that aired.
And how was that?
It was interesting. You know, it was. I'm sure everybody knows by now, Leo did get his Oscar, so the internet has to start obsessing about something else now, I guess, because he got his gold statue finally. So good for him. Been watching Face Off because we're kind of halfway through a new season of that.
Super cool.
My favorite. Anybody out there watching Face Off? Robert is the guy that you're just like, wow, he's a character. He's a German gentleman who is one of the contestants, and he's just an out there artist. And I hope he stays on the show for a long time because he's easily my favorite right now. I apparently felt the need to depress myself, so I watched the 2-part documentary "If God Is Willing and the Creek Don't Rise" by Spike Lee. It's a follow up to his 4-part kind of epic documentary, "A Requiem in 4 Acts When the Levees Broke," which, if you have you seen this?
No.
It's about what happened. It's about what happened during Hurricane Katrina in the Gulf Coast, and I think if you could pass a law requiring Americans to watch certain documentaries, that would have to be in the top 5.
Oh, really?
It's I think everybody should watch it just to get a good idea of what happened down there, because I think most of us don't know. We always
saw what we saw in the news.
Exactly, yeah. And Spike Lee, feel how you like about him, but I think in this instance he hit it out of the park, and it's an intense watch. So don't go into it lightly. And like I said, he means it when he says a Women 4 acts, and it was originally aired broken up into 4 hour long episodes, and usually these days I think airs as 2 2 hour long episodes.
Sure.
And then what he did after that, if God is willing and the creek don't rise, is he went back 5 years later and said, "Hey, look, everything's still totally assed up down here,"
Right.
and did another documentary still trying to help the people of the Gulf Coast recover,
Yeah.
which happened and is still happening depressingly slowly. And they got hit with other setbacks, and so it's not light watching, but it's good and should be necessary watching, I think.
Okay.
Been hitting to kind of go to the other end of the spectrum. Big Fat Quiz. Been watching more of those because I needed to laugh, and I've paused my Mighty Boosh binge watching because Brick said he's going to join me on that before we go to Los Angeles. So that will continue, I think, in the next week or so. And in the meantime, I've moved on to luxury comedy, which is funny and odd.
Luxury comedy?
Yes. Mel Fielding's follow-up. That was the next show he did after Mighty Boosh went off the air.
Oh, okay.
I've never done acid or shrooms, but I suspect it might look something like this TV show. It's a guess on my part. I don't know that for sure. I really don't. But it's very imaginative and very surreal and worth a watch.
Okay.
So that kind of sums up. That's me in a nutshell. The last couple weeks.
I saw you do it.
I did do the nutshell gesture for those of you just listening, because you have to.
Because you have to.
Geoff.
Let's see here. Walking Dead and Talking Dead.
Okay.
Really good this season, or this half season.
Okay.
Because we're back from a mid-season break. So episodes 9, 10, and 11 are what I've watched so far. And it's really, really enjoying that this season. Better Call Saul. It's been back, but I've only just now started watching and getting caught up with that. Vikings, same thing.
Okay.
Been back for a few weeks, but I only just now started getting caught up. And then my little bitty shows. Big Bang Theory, Family Guy, American Dad. Not Safe with Nikki Glazer, which I still just really, really love. On the most current one I've seen, I don't remember which episode it is, but she put her parents on polygraph and asked them about their sex life.
Oh God. So many of us wouldn't want to do that.
And that's what the show's about.
Yeah.
It's like a sex-based comedy show, but it's so funny and so uncomfortable. And it's fun.
Yeah.
It's just a fun show. But definitely not for those sensitive to such things.
Right.
And then also I saw something that I probably won't end up watching, but I thought that you might like. Is it's called Evil Lives Here, and it's about like friends and family of people who have gone on to like commit murders and stuff like that.
Okay, that's why it sounded familiar, because I saw
people who have lived in the house with people who
bad people.
Yeah.
They have something else. I wonder if that's kind of a trend right now or something, because there's another show on, and I'm really trying to remember the name that I've watched a few episodes
Making a Murderer. Did you do
Making
that one?
Murder is another one. So
Okay.
There's Making Murder, there's Evil Lives Here, and then there was a third one that I have seen a few episodes of, that was basically hosted by Keith Jesperson's daughter. For those of you who don't know who Keith Jesperson was, he was known in the media as the Happy Face Killer.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know who she was per se, because I had the TV on mute, in a commercial for this TV show came up, and it didn't say hosted by or anything, and I took one look at this woman's face and went, holy God, she's got to be related to the Keith Jesperson, because she kind of looks like her dad.
Oh wow.
So I think it's her kind of, she hosting the show and her dealing with her issues that way, and and helping other people deal with their issues maybe. So maybe that's a thing right now.
Yeah.
Apparently it is.
Well, and I think the serial radio show kind of got into that, and then Making a Murderer is definitely,
Yeah.
it's kind of brought it to the foreground, I guess. But I mean, true crime has not been.
It's not a new subject.
That's not a new subject.
No, it's just kind of.
It's a different way of presenting
It's
it.
a different way of presenting it. Exactly. Yeah. Different form, different format.
Yep. And then I watched a couple movies this week. Mad Max Fury Road rewatched for me, and then I watched Hitman Agent 47 for the first time because I like that actor. The movie's just okay.
Okay. Mad Max is amazing.
Mad Max is great, yeah.
And that was kind of surprised me that was the big technical winner at the Oscars. I mean, not entirely surprised, but
yeah.
Yeah, that one, there were so many first timers working on that movie. You heard that over and over again during the course of the show, which was, this is the first nomination and first Oscar for so and so, and they were going up to get their award, and they took 7.
That's like awesome.
That took home a lot of gold.
Yeah. So, yeah, Agent 47, it actually took me 3 attempts to make it all the way through. And not because it was that terrible. It just, I kept falling asleep. So, but it's full of action. I mean, it's full of action.
It looked interesting.
And I kept falling asleep. Anyway.
You were tired.
Yeah. Move on to the What You Playing, Erin.
Sum that one up pretty quick. And I'm actually, once again, not going to say Fallout. I have to. This is weird, and people that know me know that I do this. Is where I'm kind of a total addict with games for weeks and weeks, like put it in my veins and give me an IV point. Then I wake up one day and just go, and move on with my life.
Right.
I appear to have kind of done that with Fallout, but it's kind of been niggling at me to play it again. So I might, at this point, I've walked away from my other character for so long that I might just start a new one, especially since I hadn't started anything with that other one really. So maybe I'll try, I don't know, maybe I'll pick her up again. Maybe I'll try something new. But
perfect.
This week I've been playing, they finally released The Room 3 for the Kindle. Geoff is giving me a puzzled look for those of you playing along at home but are only listening. The Room is a really popular online puzzle game.
Okay.
And there's a whole industry out there of puzzle games and mystery games. You know, we kind of have to solve puzzles to get through the storyline. The Room is far and away the best of all of them out there. And they have, and it's an Apple app.
Okay.
I do not have Apple products, so I always, whenever The Room and The Room 2 dropped, and no different with The Room 3, there's always a lag time between when it drops for Apple and when it drops for the Kindle. It dropped for the Kindle during shenanigan time, so I was able to come home and start
crack
playing
out
The
a
Room
little
3. Yeah, and this one has alternate endings, so I'm a really happy girl. I love games with alternate endings.
Yeah, you do. You really do.
Yay! Yay! More jazz hands and glitter.
Then you can go back to Fallout and experience those alternate endings.
Yes.
So,
how about you?
Very cool. Fallout for me mostly. I don't think I dipped back into the other games again this week. I think it's just Fallout. Just making progress on my Institute playthrough.
Nice.
I'm playing through with a female character this time. Very focused on getting her child back. She doesn't get distracted like my other characters did with building houses and
that would make sense for a female character, but it might mean that my female character is kind of a shitty mom. Because my female character is very distracted with building houses.
Yeah. So
her son's probably a teenager by now.
I generally go with the sarcastic responses with this character.
How does that work for you?
It seems to work fine.
Okay.
Not everybody appreciates it. And with my last character, I was just going through with my dog. I didn't play with the other companions at all.
More power to you, because I
love the dog.
I love the dog too, which is why I had a hard time taking him with me, because I didn't like
the
noises I know. He was making during combat. So I built him a.
But he never dies.
I know he doesn't. I know, it's just the noise, I think. I built him a doghouse in Sanctuary and then got him a lady friend.
Oh, did you get it from the vendor?
Yeah.
The guy that travels around and
Yeah.
sells dogs.
Hmm.
Seems to have a fairly endless supply of dogs.
Yeah, I got
Where does
I
he
got
live?
him a lady friend. I
See,
don't know.
I should, if he has that many dogs, I should be able to find his place pretty easily.
You would think.
Yeah.
You would think.
Um, yeah. So I'm playing through. I had uh, the reporter, the
Yeah.
journalist lady with me,
Piper.
Piper. Yeah. Um, but then when it was time for me to go to the radiated, what is the sea? What is it called?
The glowing sea.
The glowing sea. Yes. When it was time for me to go there, it just like when it started getting to that point in the story, um, I just decided that I'm just gonna, have whoever with me that it makes sense to have with me. So I took Strong
So Strong
with me
is
through
the
the
guy you
glowing
want with you
sea,
through in the glowing sea.
and
Yeah.
but I made it all the way through without having to fight anything.
Or Hancock. Hancock would be
Yeah. Um, and for a little bit, I had the synth with me,
okay. Hmm.
the detective,
Yeah.
and so I'm not really sold on the companions, so I think I'm just going to play with the ones that it makes most sense to. So I won't ever play with Kate, I
Kate.
guess,
Yeah.
because I'm not doing side quests,
Right.
and I just ran into Strong.
Strong was one of my favorite characters to run around with. Honestly,
Yeah,
I was spending a
he
huge amount of
wants
time.
he wants to have access to the milk of human
Human
kindness,
kindness, which is awesome.
because that elixir will make him a better fighter or
Fighter
something.
will make him a better super mutant.
Yeah,
And I just love the things that he yells during combat. He gets really excited during combat and starts yelling excitedly, yes, human, smash it, squish it. For some reason, that just was not getting old for me anytime
yeah,
soon to constantly hear that
yeah.
behind me.
I'm looking forward to seeing his interaction with the storyline with Virgil,
Okay. Yeah,
because
Strong's a weird character to run around with because I did max out his affection.
yeah,
It can be done, but it takes you a little bit. You have to keep him with you for a while
yeah, and
because
that won't happen with.
he dislike every time you pick a lock, he dislikes it.
Yeah, he dislikes locks.
He dislikes locks. Yeah.
He should want me to pick
And
him.
cannot understand. I almost wonder if the way they wrote him, he can't understand why you have to do that. Super mutants
Maybe.
are not obstructed by such trivial things as locks. They punch it and it flies open, and you are a soft, squishy human that can't do that.
Yeah,
So I suspect as much detail as they put into the characters in this game that might be it.
the way I'm playing my playthroughs, I'm not sure how I'd max out my affection with any of my companions.
Some of them I think are easier than others. Like I just picked up McCready
Okay.
when I was playing, and he maxed out pretty quick.
Oh
Actually.
yeah.
Yeah, for me anyway. I probably just it was probably a fluke, and I did everything just right without meaning to.
Oh, okay.
But I just was happy that he showed up. Honestly,
I haven't interacted much with him at all.
do you recognize the name?
Yes.
Okay, so you remember him from Fallout 3.
Ish.
Okay. He was a really fun character in Fallout 3. He was in Little Lamplight as a child.
Oh, okay.
He was Mayor McCready.
Gotcha.
The 7-year-old with the curses like he has Tourette's syndrome.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense now.
So you run into him again as an adult who refuses to curse in the newest Fallout game, which made me very happy.
Yeah. That was a cool little section of New Vegas, or 3. No, it was 3.
It was definitely an interesting side story, and yet it's one, if you really stop and think about it, kind of makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
All at the same time,
Have
because
kind of a real Lord of the Flies kind of
absolutely
situation going on there.
Situation is really what they wrote into that game, which because you've got this, as a lot of you may or may, some of you know, I'm sure some of you don't, you've got this situation where it's a vast underground cave network where it's run by children, but and you have to leave when you're 16. They don't trust adults, and so
I don't know what was the story. like that. What's that?
Yeah, they
Logan's
don't trust
Run?
adults or
What?
mungos, as they call them, because when they first, by a fluke, a whole class of children was down there when the bombs hit 200 years previously, and all the adults kept leaving to go out and look for help and never coming back. And so they're finally down to just kids, and they try to get into the vault that's connected onto
Right.
Little Lamplight, and an adult on the other side of the door, mistaking what he's hearing as the ghost of his deceased son, screams at them, "You're dead already. I'm not letting you in."
Right.
Which,
Why? Yeah, that's been forever.
yeah, and actually, they don't really spell a lot of this
I
out
may
for
have to
you,
go
but
back and play that on the Xbox One since you
yeah,
get it
nice, yeah.
free, or I got it
Because you
free
have
with
to
the
find
digital
journals to
download.
get all that backstory. Basically, you
Yeah.
have to go through Little Lamplight and find all these audio journals, and then there's kind of connecting audio journals in the basement of Vault 87, I believe it is, where you find the super mutants. And so you realize that there's a little kid that winds up being the first mayor of Little Lamplight, who says, screw these mungos, we don't, or these adults, we don't need them. We're
Yeah.
going to take care of ourselves. We're never going to trust adults again because of this incident, on top of all the other adults leaving and never, probably dying in radiation outside the
Right.
door of the cave. But you're left with the uncomfortable truth of, this is 200 years later, and this cave system is still fully populated by children. So you clearly have children begetting children and
Right.
carrying on this Lord of the Flies situation that they've made work.
Yeah.
And it's one of those really interesting side notes that they have, great writers
Yeah.
sticking into these games, which is why we love them.
Yep. It's very cool.
The bottle's sad. I'm kind of bummed out. My bottle's empty. I'm kind of bummed about that.
Yep. Mine's almost done too.
Very sad.
All right. Well, I think that's about it.
Yeah, I think that's what we have for you this week.
I played some arcade games this week.
Nice.
Well, I have to. It's mandatory now. We get a list of 7 or 8 games that we have to go and test and make sure that they're working. I mean, we have a department of people that does that already, but they're trying to get the managers a little bit more involved in that, which makes sense because
Yeah.
I played some games that I haven't played in the last year of working there, so that's something.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice
so yeah,
perk of the job.
I guess it's another checklist that I have to go through.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I think
that's
what we
it.
have.
We'll call that a show. We will see you guys next week. Thank you for watching and listening, and have a great day
Great week.
and weekend. All those things.
Just be great.
Just be great in general. Bye.